my name is Donovan, and today I want to compare up two watches that I've been using over the last 2 weeks and just kind of give you my thoughts on which watch might be the better watch for you, and also let you know which one in the end is the one that I prefer out of these two watches, and hopefully that'll also help you make a decision if you're choosing between the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2 and the Garmin Vivoactive 4. Now before I get into the nitty-gritty of this video, let me give a quick shout out to our sponsor for this video, the folks over at playbetter.com, which I'll leave down in the description, so you can pick up watches like this Garmin Vivoactive 4 and other fitness, golf, cycling, and outdoor equipment from their website, and also their Amazon store as well, which I'll link down in the video description. So that being said, let's go ahead and just kind of jump right into it, and let's first off talk about the price of these two watches. So in the version you see here, I have the Garmin Vivoactive 4 in the larger version. So there's the Vivoactive 4 and the 4S, so I'll go ahead and show you the 4S since I have it sitting here. This is just a smaller version of the exact same watch. Basically the only difference is a smaller display and a smaller battery on the smaller version of the watch. That's really the only difference. Both of those are $349. When it comes to the Samsung, you're looking at anywhere from $279 for the smaller version, which is 40 millimeters. This is the 44 millimeter version, and this one's $300 or $299. And there's also an LTE version, which of course has LTE available, but then also has a stainless steel bezel instead of aluminum, and that one's $450. So in terms of price, we know if we're just comparing these two watches, $299 versus $349, definitely the Samsung takes the win if price is the only factor that you're considering. So that being said, I want to go ahead and tell you why I like the Garmin Vivoactive 4 more than the Samsung, and then I'll tell you why I like the Samsung more than the Garmin Vivoactive 4. So let me give you 3 reasons why I like the Garmin Vivoactive 4. Number 1 is the battery life. So in terms of battery life, there's no question this one definitely gets better battery life than the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2. In a typical usage, which means I'm listening to music while I'm running and also using GPS, and then of course getting notifications throughout my day, and then checking the watch just to see what time it is throughout the day. This one's giving me about 2 to possibly 3 days of battery life. Now if you look at the box, they actually claim, what is it, 8 days on smartwatch mode. Now that's if you're not using GPS and not using music, so just as a heads up there. But typical usage, you're going to get about 2 to 3 days of usage on the Garmin Vivoactive 4. So heavy usage, meaning you're running a lot and listening to music a lot, you can get through 2 days. But more typical moderate running, so about 4 to 5 miles for me, or 30 to 45 minutes, then I'm getting about 3 full days of battery out of the Vivoactive 4. Whereas with the Samsung Active 2, this is a pretty typical day, but if you look at the watch status, I'm currently at 33%. So that's a pretty typical day to end with 33%. Now one advantage is that this can wirelessly charge, so that's nice. You can use, if you have a wireless charger like this one right here, you can just set it right down, it's going to charge up, so that's nice, but you're pretty much doing it every single day. So that's the negative part of the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2. Now it does have some battery saving features, but of course you're going to lose some of the smartwatch features that you get when you use those battery saving modes. But there's no question for me that of these two, this one is the better when it comes to battery life. So the next area I want to talk about is the fitness tracking, and that's another area where I think the Garmin Vivoactive 4 takes the win. So I actually did a video where I compare up these two when it comes to the GPS and the heart rate, and the Garmin Vivoactive 4 and the Samsung really pretty much were on par with each other once the update came with the Samsung. So basically no difference in terms of the GPS accuracy. However, you're going to burn through the battery a lot faster with this one. So if you're running a marathon, forget about the Samsung Active 2, because there's a good chance it won't even last through the whole race. Whereas with the Garmin Vivoactive 4, you'll definitely be able to make it through an entire race using the GPS and listening to music. Definitely not over here. Alright, so that said, why do I like the Garmin Vivoactive 4 more when it comes to fitness tracking? So the heart rate sensor is another thing, and actually the heart rate sensors on these two are really pretty much, I would say, on par with each other. The difference is the Samsung is just a little less reliable. And what I mean by that is, like, on a typical run, for the first couple of minutes it kind of is a little bit spotty, then all of a sudden it's pretty much dead on with my Garmin for the rest of the run. So if I go on a 40-minute run, for the first 2 minutes it's a little bit off, and then all of a sudden it's dead on, and they're only within 1 or 2 beats of each other throughout the rest of the run. So that's really fantastic, but it's a little bit more spotty over here with the Active 2. So that makes me feel like this one's a whole lot more reliable. I've used a lot of Garmin watches. The heart rate sensors always are very reliable, even compared to like a chest rate monitor. And so that's why, no question here with the fitness tracking, I definitely prefer the Garmin. Now you can see that both of them have a ton of different options here. So I can go in the fitness tracking. You can see that the Garmin has, I think they say 20 different activities that you can track here. And really there's more than that, because if you go into Garmin IQ, there's even more that you can track. But then over here on the Samsung, we'll go ahead and go into a workout, and you can see that this one actually tracks a little bit more. So actually we'll use the touch bezel here. You can see that we have plenty of things that we can track here. Again, some of these other ones are just not as reliable, but definitely, for me as a runner, there's no question the running is accurate. We've already talked about the heart rate and the GPS, but if I go down here, you can see that I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. We're going to go into more workouts, and you can see they actually have like individual workouts that you can track using the not the Vivoactive 3, the Active 2 here, and so that's really cool. But again, for me personally as a runner, the Vivoactive 4 is the more reliable of the two. Now the third area where the Garmin Vivoactive 4 wins between these two watches for me, this one's going to be probably a little bit weird because I know this is not going to be true for everyone, but I love listening to podcasts while I'm running. So let me go ahead and just show you real quick. Down here you can see I can add music and podcasts to Spotify. So this, of course, is only going to be applied to people that use Spotify. This can also use Amazon Music. And there's one other thing it can use. Oh, Deezer Music. And I think there's actually a couple other options. I use Spotify personally, so I'm not really going to talk about those other ones. But this one can use podcasts on Spotify, which is really cool. If I come over here on the Samsung, you'll see that basically the playlist. Of course, I can listen to my playlist. I can download playlists right to the watch, just like I can with the Garmin. The difference here is that I don't have any option for podcasts. You can see there's an option for music, playlist, recently played, but there is just unfortunately no option for podcasts. And I really wish that was something that they could get to the Active 2 or really any of the Samsung watches, because this is like my 4th Samsung watch, and unfortunately that's just never been an option. They work well with Spotify. The Spotify app works a lot better than when the original Samsung Galaxy Watch came out, but again, no podcasts available. So that's the 3 ways that the Garmin Vivoactive 4 beats the Samsung for me. So now let's talk about ways that the Samsung beats the Vivoactive 4. So first thing, of course, is just for me, just the looks of the watch. So this one's made out of metal. This one's actually mostly made out of plastic. So this one definitely for me, when it comes to just kind of the build quality, I think this one looks a little bit nicer. Also, of course, we have the AMOLED display, which looks a little bit more vivid, obviously, than this transreflective display. And an advantage, of course, of the transreflective display is that it's very visible in bright light. But of course, this one's really quite visible as well, but it burns through a lot more battery. So that's the give and take you get with this watch. The software for me is hands down better. So you have your widgets over here on the side, and you can customize these however you want. Over here with the notifications, the notification system on the Samsung is definitely way better. You can see over here I'm just going to go ahead and show you the Garmin notifications, because it's basically just like an individual thing. So apparently lots of different things going on, of course. Things going on with our president that I can get notifications for, but then you can see I can go in here and I can see that there's a Ginger Runner video that's being, I think it's live right now. If we go over here, you can see my notifications. I probably have that same one in here somewhere, maybe. Nope, doesn't look like I have that one. I don't think I have YouTube notifications coming to this watch. But the nice thing here is that I can actually use a microphone to respond to notifications. Also, of course, we have that built-in speaker, which is really cool. So in terms of notifications and just software in general, there's no question for me that the Samsung takes the win there. And let's see, is there anything else that what other reasons does this one win? Charging it up, you can use wireless charging. I think that's about it, though. So the question becomes, which one of these two do I prefer? Oh, I forgot to mention, in terms of just smartwatch features, there's no question Samsung Galaxy Watch Active is the better of the two. So you can get a lot more apps that are available for this one. It's still a little bit limited in comparison to like the Apple Watch or even Android Wear OS watches. There's not as much in the Tizen store or in the Samsung store for the Galaxy Watch, but it still is definitely better than what you get on Garmin. So there's a lot more apps available, probably a lot more useful apps, I would say, as well on the Active 2. But that being said, which one of these two watches do I prefer for my personal use? And for me, it's the Garmin Vivoactive 4, because when it comes to like what features do I care about the most, well, number one is battery life. That's obviously going to be important. And unfortunately, the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2, pretty much, like I said, have to charge every other day, or really every day, to be completely honest. And so that definitely takes the L there. When it comes to which one is the more reliable fitness tracker, definitely the Garmin is the more reliable for me. So that gives it the second reason. And then the third reason, like I already mentioned before, those Spotify podcasts. So overall, for me personally, if I had to choose between one of these two watches, I definitely prefer the Vivoactive 4. Let me know what you guys think. Which one do you think might be right for you? And what reasons did I miss about the Samsung and reasons why it beats the Vivoactive 4? Let me know down in the comments below. And again, quick shout out to our sponsor, playbetter.com, for sending out the Garmin Vivoactive 4 for me to test out. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.